Hi, Orange Girl here with another scrapbooking process video for you. I'm working with the January Hip Kit Club kits and this gorgeous sketch. So what I've done is I'm just adding some clear gesso to the background. This is the paper that came in the paper kit, the cardstock kit. It's just a white basil smooth cardstock. I'm adding just some gesso because I know I'm going to do some mixed media on the back. And you can't really see it here, but I have gone ahead and I kind of drew a really loose circle with pencil. Not even the whole circle, just like little dotted lines sort of, just to give me a guide as to where I was going to put things when this all dried. So I got that dry, and now I'm coming back in with a couple of items from the color kit. I'm using these two Distress Oxides that came in this month's kit. The first one is the pink color, and then the other one is the orange color. And of course, I cannot remember what their real names are. I'll see if I can find that. I think they're sitting here on my desk somewhere. Anyway, I'm just using the packaging technique. So I'm going ahead and just stamping it right onto the packaging, and then I take a little bit of water and sprinkle it on. And when I sprinkle that water on to the ink, it makes it a little bit more like a watercolor. And so just like any other time I use this technique along with many other scrapbookers, I just smoosh it then onto the page. And you can kind of see a circle developing here. So at this point, I am wiping it off in between using the two different colors. Normally, if I was using regular paint, I might not do that, depending on what my colors were that I was using, because these two blend together pretty well. The reason that I'm wiping it off is because I don't want to contaminate the ink pad with either water or the other color. So, most of the time I remembered to clean it off before moving on to the next color. So I'm just adding a few splatters of paint here, and then I get an idea. And so in a few minutes here, I'm going to grab the stamp that actually also came in the color kit. I have a feeling, I feel like it's from Echo Park. It's a background stamp. And it came in the color kit, and I'm going to add, once this all dries, I'm going to go ahead and add some stamping in the same areas with the same color, just to add a little background texture. So I think that's what we're going to do here next. I think I've pretty much, now you're watching me clean up, I think I've pretty much gotten things finished as far as that goes. Oh, nope, I'm not. I forget what I'm doing here. I must have decided that I needed a little bit more pink in there. I wanted them to flow together, and I was trying to do that without contaminating anything. So now I was a little impatient, so I went ahead and got out my heat gun and dried that all off. And then I think I ended up actually walking away. And then there's the stamp, and I just left it right on the backing. And I'm putting the ink directly onto the stamp so that I can make it, I want to make sure that it doesn't have hard edges. So I don't want the ink pad, the square of the ink pad, to be a line. And so you'll see me actually use my finger here in a minute, because as I did that, okay, see how there was a bit of a hard line there, and I didn't want a hard line, so I went ahead and just used my finger to blend it out a little bit so that it would look less square and no harsh lines, just a nice, I don't know what I want to call it, just a smooth transition from the color to no color. All right, so I try to show you what it looks like up close, and it doesn't really work, but I promise later you're going to see, especially in the close-ups at the end, but even before then, I think you'll be able to see what it looks like with the stamp in there. So once I have this done, then I'm ready to kind of, well, there, right there, I was like, oh my goodness, because I dropped the ink pad and it didn't fall on the page and wreck it, and I was really thankful. So I'm adding a few more splatters because you can never have too many splatters. So I'm just going back to that packaging to do that. So once I'm done with that, then I'll go ahead and get out the items that I'm going to do to actually put on in the front of the background to make the circle more complete and more identifiable. So I'm using, and I'm super excited about it. There you can see me kind of blending the two colors there at the end just to have a little bit of that blended color. Okay, so what I'm super excited about using are these right here. When these came in the kit, like when I saw the kit before, like in the previews and all that kind of stuff before they actually came, I was super excited about this product right here. These are die cuts, and they are by Kim Watson. And they match beautifully the paper that is also an exclusive in the Hip kit this month, in the main kit and in the paper add-on. These are gorgeous flowers. And so what you're seeing me try to do here is create kind of like a wreath of these flowers, and I'm some of them are rather bold, and so I'm wanting like the reds and the blues to kind of be distributed across the page so that they're not all in one area. So you'll see me move things around a little bit, and that's what I'm doing. I promise I did save a few of these back. I didn't use the whole pack, but I used a lot of the pack. So now I've kind of decided that this is where I want them, so I'm going to start gluing things down. The picture that you saw pop in there changes because I end up using that picture on a different layout. I had the background of this layout done for a little while and then came back to it later, did another layout in between, and used that picture of my daughter upside down. Anyway, so this one, what I'm doing now is I'm just gluing down, and honestly, when you use clear gesso especially, it has a grit to it, and so it's hard to get things to stick. And so I play around a lot with the glue, and then I'm also adding a little bit of foam adhesive to some of the flowers so that some of them are sticking up. And I think I did that to probably 6 or 7, maybe 8 or 9, maybe 8 or 9 different flower clusters, various, some big ones and some smaller ones, just to give it a little bit more dimension. And so the reason that I'm walking away right now is because I can tell that these are all going to fall off. So I went ahead and I let that dry a little bit. And then as I came back here, I had cut around the edges and I added a little bit of black cardstock around the background. And then behind that gorgeous floral paper that matches the, it's an exclusive by Kim Watson as well, and it matches those flowers perfectly. So I added those 2 little borders and then a little bit of stitching around the outside. And I did that off camera because, I mean, there's really nothing to see. I just cut a little of my white cardstock and then added those around the outside and stitched it down. So now you can see I'm going back in and I'm adding a little bit of thread. I did have to pull up a couple of the flowers, but it wasn't too hard because they were still not completely dry. So I'm adding some tangled thread in pink, and I'm adding some in kind of that orange color, and I'm adding the thread in the same color of thread to the same background area. So like the orange is going in that orange area. And the reason I'm doing that this time is not so much for a pop of color like I do sometimes. It's more for just a little bit more texture. This already has a lot of texture going on, but I just wanted just a little bit, a tad bit more messiness, a tad bit more, it kind of fits the theme a little bit. So this is a picture of my mom and I, and I've had a lot of things going on in my life recently. A lot of people around me are either sick with things like cancer, or they're dying of cancer, or they died suddenly. I had a friend that died suddenly recently. And so I really appreciate this photograph, although my mother is fine. Thank you. I really appreciate this photo of my mom and I because we don't get a lot of photos together, and this was taken in, I think, November, in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I believe. And I just wanted to make this layout with this picture of us because I don't really get to scrap us very much, and I thought the life is good fit perfectly. So that's kind of the story of the layout. So now I'm just adding, the life is good came from, I believe that's Vicki Boutin's word thickers that came in the kit, and then I'm trying to add some thread behind there, but I stopped doing that. The reason that I sped this way up is because what I'm doing now is I'm using the Vicki Boutin stickers, and I'm just doing the same thing over and over, so it was kind of boring to watch. I'm just adding behind each of the butterfly's wings, I'm adding a little bit of that foam so that it stands up. I think you'll be able to see it in the close-up photos here coming up pretty soon, so that each of these flowers, not flowers, butterflies' wings kind of stand up a little bit to give it a little bit more depth. I think it looks really cute that way, and I really am glad that I did that. So now you can see a little bit better what all of that looks like close up. So I'm pretty much done like with the basics of this layout, and so now I'm just going to add a few little bits. So we also got this Vicki Boutin rubber stamp, and it says, what I'm stamping there says notice. So life is good, notice. And then I end up playing a little bit with some of these Vicki Boutin stickers that you can paint, and I have done that in a different set that I've gotten of hers, but I haven't done it with this set yet, and there's no reason, no rhyme or reason as to why, except the fact that I really like the pops of black and white that matches with the photo, and the flowers are so colorful that that's just kind of, I just like the way that they went together. So the sketch here over on the left is supposed to include some journaling, but I didn't really feel like I needed to include journaling. I think it pretty much speaks for itself. So I just added a few strips of words. One says today, one says so much fun, and one says love it. And then I'm messing with some of those same strips of text underneath and around my photo, but I end up taking that away because as I'm looking through things, and you'll see me kind of, my hands are off camera looking through some things here in a little bit, and you'll see that I'm like going through like some of the Project Life cards and some of the other things included in the kit, and I remembered that we got these, I think they're by American Crafts. They're memory planner stickers, and they're basically translucent, these right here, and yeah, they're not, yeah, translucent. Transparent is clear. So these have a little bit of color in them, and then they have words that say things. So I chose the ones that say smile, remember, and my favorite. And I end up, in this video, you'll see them kind of under and around the photo. Then off camera, right when I went to take the pictures, I was like, oh, I don't really like them there. So then I moved them, and so you'll see in the final pictures I have some up by the butterflies and then one underneath the picture. There we go. There's the final product. I really loved the way there you can kind of see the stamp, the rose stamp, and some of the other texture that I added to this. Thanks a lot for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're inspired to do something fun with your products this month, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.